I didn't go today, and they fucking won.
Really?
I was
As soon
supposed to
as
go.
I hit record, you guys start talking about the Mets?
That's why I did it. DeGrom pitched masterfully today. I didn't see the game.
You got me so flustered, it's not even the right song.
Ooh, someone's still into the Asian stuff.
Hello, nasty. Hello there. Hello. I say hello. Hello, friend. Well, hello, little girl. Hello, my treacherous friends. Hello, operator. The beginning of everything. Welcome back, my friends. It's showtime.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to The Brink of Sanity, episode 276. I am Jay, and with me is Mark and Bri. How you guys doing?
Good.
Oh, pretty good.
All right.
Cool.
Yes.
Happy Father's Day, everyone. Happy Father's Day, Mark.
I'm actually a father, yeah. That's why the whole show is going to be kid stories, because everyone loves kid stories from me.
Highlight of everyone's day.
I spent today at the town pool with my kids. It was a very nice Father's Day, and then we barbecued. I was going to tell you, so my daughter, she's 3 years old, very cute, wonderful child, and she started recently saying, fuck it. And in the most cutest thing, you cannot say fuck it in like a more cute way. But I've been trying to explain to her, don't say fuck it, because that's really bad. And so the other day, we're at like something for my son's school, and she comes up to me and goes, Daddy, I don't say fuck it. I know fuck it's bad. I don't say fuck it, Daddy. I'm like, stop saying it. Daddy, I don't say fuck it. I would never say no. Just you're not supposed to ever say it. Daddy, I would never say fuck it. I know saying fuck it's bad. I'm not saying fuck it. Stop saying fuck it. Oh. This went on for a little while. But...
Having kids sounds awesome.
Oh, yeah.
It is. So there's something we started talking about off the air, and we'll start talking about it on the show. And so my son is in kindergarten. And there's a kid in his class, I think we mentioned this in the previous show, who is a boy but dresses like a girl. And my son even, like, thinks he's a girl. He was talking about girls in his class. His birthday party was recently, and he was saying, I don't care if the girls come. He started naming some of the girls, and he named this boy because he just thinks the boy's a girl. And we were talking about the kids in kindergarten. What's your reaction to parents, like, letting their kids dress the opposite sex in kindergarten?
I think, to me, it seems a little young. Not in the sense of like, I just think it's a little young for the child to know what he thinks he is.
See, I think it's got to be such a tough life heading ahead for the kid. But at the same time, I applaud the parents for doing this, because I feel like I feel like if you're a kid and you want to be the opposite sex, it's got to be really tough. And at the kindergarten, I think kids don't really judge you, but later on, obviously, you'll probably get picked on. And who knows? Their society is changing so much that everyone will just accept
I
them.
think it's probably easier to be a kid than it would be an adult.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably not easy to be a junior high kid. It's easier to be a kindergartner, but like when the kids start like picking on, right now, all the kids don't really pick on each other. They're all like really nice, like just nice to each other. But in a couple of years, they stop being nice to each other, and they'll be like, "Look, you look different. Let's all pick on you." And that's when it's going to get really hard. At the same time, I feel like if you have a kid, you want your kid to be happy, and even if you feel like the kid's going to have a tough life, you want their home space to be their safe space, where like everything's wonderful. So you like let them like be themselves. I don't know. Steven, also our resident. What is Steven, our super fan?
I don't know. He's been very quiet
know?
lately. I don't know if he's demoted to just regular fan now.
Yeah, Steven, you got to step it up.
I saw a pretty, on this topic, I saw a pretty funny internet meme on Facebook like 2 weeks ago, and it said, genders are kind of like the Twin Towers. There used to be two, but now it's kind of a sensitive topic. Which I thought was pretty funny.
Did it then blame the Saudi Arabians?
Kuwait. Never mind.
What? You want to go to a 9/11 conspiracy to start early in the show?
I got to stop the show at 9 o'clock because I want to see what my local NBC channel is going to have on instead of Megyn Kelly and Alex Jones, because they've said they're not going to show it.
What? They're not showing it?
What?
They're not showing it?
Connecticut's not.
Megyn Kelly is interviewing Alex Jones, the InfoWars guy, and they're not. Connecticut's not showing it because he denies the shooting, the Sandy Hook shooting.
Yeah.
Have you been following what's been going on Alex Jones's website, though?
I
think you're the only one that goes to Alex Jones's website.
It's been amazing. First of all, he did the interview, and then he immediately said the interview is chopped up to make him look crazy without hearing the interview. He just assumed this. And so he went on this big campaign to have the interview pulled from the internet, and then he decided he's going to show her and pull a fast one, and he was also recording it, so he's going to leak the unedited interview before she airs it so you can tell what was really said. But
did he leak it?
He did, but the audio he leaked, he chopped up. So he did exactly what he was accusing her of doing. He kept breaking into the interview and bashing her and then going back to the interview, so you don't know what he cut out. And then he eventually said he's going to release 90% of the full interview. So, like, how crazy was that 10% for him to make up all these conspiracy theories?
Well, not to like play conspiracy theorist on this, but like I don't think Megyn Kelly exists. So I think she's just CGI created. I don't think she's a real person.
Well, here's the stupid thing about this whole like thing. If you don't want to see Megyn Kelly interview Alex Jones, don't fucking watch it. Change the channel. We'll put something else. Because here's the thing. Okay, now let's assume, for the sake of this argument, that there are a percentage of people in America that believe that Sandy Hook was a hoax.
And
there is a percentage of people.
Yeah, there is a percentage.
Okay. So let's just assume that there's 100% of the pie is everybody. So there's the group of people who think it's a hoax, and then everybody else believes that it really happened and blah, blah, blah. There's nobody in America who's going to watch it tonight who thinks Sandy Hook really happened and then be like, well, he's onto something. I think he's right. Like, nobody's going to change their mind.
Right.
Yeah, right. It's not like they're watching
it's not like it. Yeah, I mean, it's not like there's like propaganda, like him. He's not going to change anybody's opinion. He's going to go up there, and people who are sane are going to be like, "What a fucking douchebag," and people who are crazy are like, "Megyn Kelly's a cunt for treating him, making fun of him or whatever."
Could we cut to Jay and I watching it? Jay,
because I can't watch it. So
yeah. Jay, this guy on TV says those kids weren't shot. Oh my god, I was so sad about that. Glad that didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, problem solved. We could stop arguing about it now.
Perfect. And you know what's great? I don't understand about the interview is that Megyn Kelly asked him about Sandy Hook. He said it was a hoax, and then she high-fived him. They did like a dance.
I can't wait for this interview.
I don't understand what people are going like. What do they think happened? Like, even if you're like, they relate this to like a Holocaust denier.
Mm-hmm.
Is you can still interview a Holocaust denier. You don't have to treat his answers like they're like helpful answers.
Like the NBA player who thinks the Earth is flat.
Right.
You can still talk to the person. It's not like you can't talk to the person.
Yeah, this whole movement of I don't agree, so I don't want anybody to be able to even hear this person is ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's doing an interview. It's not like they're forcing Alex Jones to be your commencement speaker.
And it's not promoting that nobody died at Sandy Hook. The whole point of this interview is for everybody to laugh at Alex Jones.
It's not like Alex Jones is going to be on with Megyn Kelly like with his PowerPoint presentation going step by step as to why he thinks it was a hoax. He's just going to say in passing it was a hoax, and then 9/11 was an inside job, and then he's going to go on to the next thing.
From the audio he leaked, he didn't even say that. He said it's a possibility that it didn't happen.
It'd be better if it was just like it's a possibility that it did happen.
I will say though, the fact that I lived 25 miles from where it was, there were some shady things that happened after the fact around there.
Tell us.
Well, they made everybody who worked in the building to tear it down and all that stuff sign all these confidentiality agreements where they couldn't disclose anything that they saw.
Okay, well that's. I mean, maybe they
wouldn't release any of the 9/11 911 tapes, or any of the photos or anything.
Why do you need all that stuff? Like a bunch of kids were shot. I really need to hear the audio, the 911 call, or see pictures of the dead kids.
No, but it is kind of weird that it seemed to be like covered up.
It was on like complete lockdown. Like nothing, like no information came from that area. Like
Well,
nothing was ever.
maybe they thought it was very sensitive stuff. They didn't really want anyone besides the families know, like hearing all the sensitive stuff. And maybe they also thought like, hey, we can just put it on lockdown because no one's crazy enough out there to deny this happened.
Well, they were clearly wrong about that.
I don't understand the idea. You can't just ask the guy. I mean, our president of the United States, has gone on this show and been a huge fan of this guy. If you're mad at anyone, you should be mad at the president who basically.
Well, somebody said that on Twitter today. You shouldn't be mad that Megyn Kelly talked to him. You should be mad that Donald Trump talks to him.
And you should be talking about that during the election. You should say, this guy's running for president, and he goes on the show of a guy who said school children were part of a hoax. The dead school children are part of a hoax.
And that's not the most offensive thing he said that week.
Donald Trump or Alex Jones?
Both.
What else is on InfoWars these days?
The whole thing is like an anti-Muslim propaganda site right now.
What are they saying about that guy that got the baseball game that got shot?
Oh, they're going nuts because it was a liberal that did the shooting. So they're saying all liberals are violent and a threat.
Do you think
to
there's a
humanity.
place where you can bet on who the Democratic congressperson who's going to get shot is?
Well, here's a question for you. You're in Congress. Congress is so dysfunctional right now. You're supposed to be running your country, and you have time to play baseball?
Yeah.
What the hell? Do you go into practice? How about practice running your goddamn country and you won't get shot?
Well, aren't they in the middle of their 3-month
the alarm on my phone. It was like 8:30 in the morning. I was like, "What the? Why is there baseball at 8 in the morning in Washington D.C.?"
Well, aren't they in the middle of like their
Sorry.
3-month vacation?
Yeah, they're about to go. They claim that these aren't vacations. They're going home to talk to their constituents, which I understand that part
You mean
of it.
not talk to them?
Yeah.
Not talk to their constituents and try to raise money. They spend all their time trying to raise money because
they
no
only
one wants
make
you,
they only make like $200,000 each, so they need to go.
And
raise
it's funny
money.
that like this guy was like the first Republican to get shot since Reagan. I mean, like the two Kennedys, they were Democrats. They got killed. Martin Luther King, he got killed. Gabby Giffords, she was a Democrat. She got shot right in the head. And and the Republicans are like, I can't believe somebody would shoot at us. You know, like.
hang on. You know they're not raising money for their own actual pockets. I mean, they probably get like paid by like other like they take a lot of bribes, but the money's not supposed to go directly to their pockets, right?
Yeah, but I don't believe for a second that it doesn't.
I mean, I don't understand. Like, you can't because you don't pass any policy or do anything any worthwhile in office. You need the money to convince people you do.
Mm.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you're saying, Jay, you have no problem with 5-year-olds dressing like the girls in school?
I mean, I could see it being a little confusing for the other kids, but I was thinking back to when I was in elementary school, and there was two guys I specifically remember. One was flaming in first grade,
but that's different.
We didn't know.
I was thinking the same thing, but that's still it's not dressing like a girl.
Here's the thing I've been thinking about. Like, so Bri,
Yeah.
when you see a hot guy, Bri, do you stare at the hot guy? Does it turn you on?
No.
Okay. When you see a little bit of boob on like wherever office meeting you're at, do you stare too long at that boob?
I just came in my pants when you said boob.
But like realistically, like if you were gay, you would probably stare at the guy. And like the way I stare at girls, like I can't control it. And the way you stare, and if you were gay, you stare at guys, you can't really control it. And I think the same thing is true for these things. This is like an internal thing. It's not like they're like.
Oh, it's absolutely internal. I mean, it's definitely. I mean, it's not. I mean, there might be a slight majority where it's a choice, but it's definitely some kind of chromosome DNA, internal mutation type of thing.
Nope, it's the goddamn liberals and their agenda.
Yeah, it's the liberal agenda. It's not. It basically. So it's not a choice you're just making in life, right?
Right. Yeah.
So why wouldn't that be present? There are kids that are attracted to like boys are attracted to girls at a young age. Why wouldn't there be boys at that age who also feel strongly about like their gender? They figured out what the issue is. They want to dress. They want to be a girl.
Yeah, but it just seems to me like at 5 years old you don't have the brain development to understand that.
I don't know. My kids, like my daughter, loves
like I think there's like if you're
stuff,
5 if you're 5 years old, I think there's a difference between like, hey, I want to dress like a girl and I want to be a girl.
Well, maybe the kid's
Or
not
I
saying
am a girl.
Maybe the kid's not saying I am a girl, but maybe at this age they're saying I like wearing those things. Those things make me like feel better. Like my son feels better when he wears a Captain America shirt. Actually, now it's Pokemon shirt. He feels really cool about himself when he wears Pokemon shirts.
Yeah, but sometimes it's not appropriate. Like, I feel better when I'm wearing boxers and a T-shirt, but I can't go to work like that.
Maybe you can, Jay. Maybe you get ahead at work. Maybe they was like, oh, Jay, we like the initiative. We're going to promote you to management, Jay.
Like Office Space?
Just like Office Space, yeah.
The whole transgender thing is just such a new, like, phenomenon is bad, not the right word, but it's the only word I could think of at the time.
Movement?
Yeah, movement, I guess, or yeah, it's just hard. It's just hard to wrap your head around it. Like the way gay was like 10 years ago. Like everyone was like, "Oh my God, you're gay!" Like, and now it's like, who gives a shit? It's not a big deal. Like in 10 years, nobody's gonna care about this kind of thing. But it's just so hard for like people to just wrap your head around. Like, what do you mean you're a boy and you want to be a girl? Like, it just doesn't.
Well, it's something that's always existed.
Because people like us, like, we don't experience that. We don't, like I've never thought that in my life. So it's hard to like project that on somebody else and be like, what do you mean you're?
Well, here's the thing, like a pedophile.
I'm not saying I have a problem with it. I absolutely have no problem with it. It's just one of those things that's just strange.
Well, the thing is, it's always existed, but people haven't like acknowledged it. People are making like this is a new thing.
Yeah,
but it's not.
Yeah,
it's just more public.
Yeah,
because it's more accepted than before.
Yes.
Before you would say your kid was like, "Oh, I want to dress like a girl," and you'd go, "After I beat you, you won't want to dress like a girl."
Right.
But now you have parents who care, and they're like, "Oh, I want you to be happy, so let me like be brave about this, and like let me like dress you in that way. You'll be happier."
Until you get beat up in junior high.
Yeah, well, at least your parents aren't beating you up. At least just the kids in school are beating you up.
Yeah.
I was just watching Bill Maher this weekend, and Eddie Izzard was on, and I had no idea that Eddie Izzard is transgender and like.
Have you not heard Eddie Izzard's humor? Like
no, I honestly haven't.
Oh, like, Eddie Izzard, he's one of my favorite comedians. He's brilliant, but he's like it's kind of weird they dress like a girl. But he says he's not even gay.
He came out, and I came out on stage, and I was like, okay, this must be a bit. And then I Googled him, and I was like, oh, he's transgender. And then he was like, well, I'm a man, but I'm a woman, but sometimes I'm a lesbian. And I was just like, you totally lost me.
I don't think he's.
Big up since we started this conversation when I was watching him.
I don't think he doesn't even go for guys. I think he just goes for women. He just likes to dress like one, also, which is also hard to wrap your head around. He's also brilliant. Like you should listen to Jay. Have you heard
some of it? But just
have you heard Dress to Kill, his HBO special?
No, I don't think so. I remember like once I heard like 5 minutes of his stand up and it didn't grab me, and I just never tried listening to him again.
I have to say I had to listen to the Dress to Kill one twice. Because the first time it was okay. The second time, like, it really grabbed me. It's very like he does like historical. He does from historical humor. He does very out there humor, but it's really, really brilliant. But anyway, I was gonna say pedophiles, because I always like to talk about pedophiles every week. If you think about it, for a pedophile, it's not the pedophile making a choice to like be attracted to young boys. He's just been like screwed, but with like one of the worst things you can like happen to you is that you're attracted to young boys.
The old Louis C.K. SNL monologue.
Yeah.
Oh, did he say that during the monologue?
Oh, he killed. He got so much shit for it. It was like the funniest thing ever.
I've never seen that. What was this bit about the pedophiles?
He was saying like I love a Snickers bar, some candy bar, Snickers or Kit Kat. I would just eat them all the time and blah blah. And I can only imagine that pedophiles feel like that towards kids. Like it's just that like addicting, and they just even like I want to eat like 10. I want to eat like 100 Kit Kats, and it's gonna make me fat and give me diabetes, and I'm gonna die. And that must be what it's like for a pedophile to want to have a kid. They know they're gonna get ostracized and in jail and beat up and all this shit, but they just have to do it because they it's in their brain or whatever.
That was a good bit.
It totally killed. He got so much shit for it the next day. Like people were like, it was like a year and a half ago.
Oh, so Steven basically sent me, I mentioned Steven, he sent me a picture of some, like, fat dude dressed like a girl and said, glad to know you're cool with your daughter sharing a bathroom with him. Fucking retard, sober up. And then he wanted this whole rant about perverted transgender people.
I'm sorry, but do pedophiles not just sneak into other people's bathrooms now?
No, because there's a sign on the door.
Oh, okay.
That's what's stopping them. That's literally what's stopping them.
And do girls' bathrooms have like a big trough like guys do, and they just squat over it? And you just walk in and you just see beeve everywhere?
I mean, that's in my fantasy, yes.
Like I the whole bathroom thing, I just never understood like what people think. Like you're just gonna kick these doors open, and it's just gonna be like naked girls everywhere, or naked boys, or naked girls and boys.
I don't want the people of the same sex going into the bathroom with me.
Well,
like I don't want. It's like the weird. Like public bathrooms have the people. No one you see in a public bathroom, you're like, oh, you know how we met? Jay and I met in a public bathroom. It was really nice.
We met at a bathhouse.
Yeah, friends for life from public bathroom. Oh. How did you meet your significant other? He was dressed like a girl. I was dressed like a boy. We met in a bathroom.
Well, I mean, the people who make that argument are also the same people that think you're only good because the Bible tells you to be good. Otherwise, like, everything would be chaos. I mean, people really think that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had people tell...
you're not religious? How do you know not to murder people? Because I'm a fucking normal human being, and I don't need a book to tell me not to murder somebody.
So, not that I've done coke that many times, but there was one night I was doing it. This is a long time ago. And one of the guys I was doing it with was like, we started talking about religion, and he just, as we're doing coke, he's just like, I think religions are really important, and it really instills values on people. Do you want another bump? I'm like, is this really happening, this conversation?
It's like, nope, now I am totally sober, thank you.
Yeah, that was a weird. I was like, this is a really weird place. This conversation. Okay, fine. Religion's good. So a couple weeks ago, I went for a run. You guys want to hear about that?
Oh, it sounds like a great story. Yeah.
Yeah. So I went for a run. My wife had the kids at something or other. She was going to be back in like a half hour or so. It was the middle of the day. It was Memorial Day weekend, and we were going to go see fireworks that night. Our town does fireworks on a Memorial Day weekend. And so I went for a run, and I'm running on the sidewalk, and the sidewalk in our town is a little uneven at some points. And my foot just got caught, I guess, on the sidewalk, on like the, wherever basically, somewhere on like the one on the elevated part of the sidewalk. I fall. As I'm falling, I'm trying to put my hands out, but my hands kind of don't hit, like the hands kind of hit first, but not to like stop me. And my face smashes against the pavement.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, so this happened. I'm on a main road of my town. I'm running on like on the sidewalk of the main road, one of the main roads of my town. I take my head off the ground, I look up. I'm like as I'm taking my head off the ground, blood is dripping on the ground. Not a little bit of blood, a lot of blood. And my first thought is, like, it doesn't even hurt that much. My face could just smash into, like, especially my nose, my larger nose, hit the ground. And it's bleeding. I'm like, my first thought is, shit, this is going to be a problem. Like, just the inconvenience of it. It wasn't even, like, the pain. It's just, like, this is going to be really fucking annoying. Because I know I've got to go to the fucking doctor now. This is going to ruin my day. So I get up. Well, actually, I didn't even get up. I'm kind of like on my knee, like halfway up, but not really up. A lot of blood is coming out. And I'm like, what the fuck do I do now? Because there's a lot of blood coming out.
Are you like freaking out? Because I would have been having a massive panic attack at that point.
I wasn't really excited now. It wasn't a good time. But I don't have the anxiety. Thank God I don't have Jay's anxiety. I just was like really like, I'm like, just in my head, the things going I'm like, so last year we went to this fireworks thing, and it was really an awesome day with my kids. Like they just had so much fun, and I was really excited for this big fireworks thing. And I'm like, well, there goes the fireworks, and there goes I don't fucking know what else. I've ruined my whole family's day because now I'm like covered in blood.
You're way more sane than I am. I would have been like in a complete meltdown mode at this point.
So cars are driving by, and this woman pulls up. I couldn't tell. Maybe she might have had her kid in her car with her. I'm not really sure. She's like, "Sir, are you okay?" Knowing, I think she said that knowing the fact that I'm not okay because I'm on the ground covered in blood. I mean, I don't know if you've broken your nose before. There's a lot of blood that comes out when you
Did you break your nose?
Kind of. So, like, there's a lot, like, and I'm kind of, I was going to use my shirt to, like, stop the blood because I had to stop the blood. And I'm like, I have the woman. I'm like, I'm okay. I'm probably maybe a little bit under a mile from my house.
So that's like 45 minutes.
Yeah. If I walk, it'll probably take me a month. Or Jay, 12 seconds. but I'm probably about a little over a mile from my house, maybe not even, maybe 0.8. I kind of know where I am, and I'm like not in that much pain, but I know I'm like fucked. And like the woman I feel like she would have driven me to a hospital or gone like something. But I'm like, I feel like I have to go to the hospital. At the same time, I don't want to get in this person's car and cover their car in blood because they're not going to be happy about that. Even though they want to help a stranger. I'm like, do you have some tissues? Well, first I'm like, does it look bad? As blood's coming out, she's like, yeah, it kind of looks bad. And so I'm like, here's some tissues. She's like, here, take this sweatshirt. She takes a sweatshirt from her car, like, you figure, like, Jay, would you just give out an item of clothing to someone? Like a sweatshirt, just give it to someone on the street?
Probably not.
Only if I'd committed a crime with it. Like, here.
I feel like she was giving me the sweatshirt. She's not hoping the next day there's some note on misconnections. I was the guy lying on the street covered in blood. You gave me your sweatshirt.
You give her a business card and be like, here, I'll call you tomorrow and get the blood out.
I don't think she wants to get the sweatshirt back. That was my call on that. She gave me the sweatshirt. So I'm like, I'm okay. I'm not that far from here. I'm just gonna walk home. She's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. I'm also like highly embarrassed because it's not like I just got punched in the face or like took a bullet in the face. Nothing good happened. I tripped, basically being a klutz, I guess, more or less, and smashed my face on the ground. The dumbest way you could fucking, like, break your nose. And so I'm walking back. I have this sweatshirt covering my face, but the sweatshirt also now has a lot of blood on it. I'm walking by people I don't really know, and they're kind of looking at me like, they're like, a couple people said, are you okay? And I want to say, please just don't don't look at me. I need to get away from you. I just don't want people to look at me. And so I'm going back to my house, and apparently my wife drives by me, which is nice so that she would like not pull over and actually get me. She drives by, and my son says, "Dad, I think Daddy's bleeding." And my daughter goes, "I think Daddy needs to go to the hospital."
Mm.
My wife didn't see me, and she's like, okay, I don't think you even, like, she's just like, whatever, you're wrong. I walk into my neighborhood. I see one or two people who I kind of know, who I've not seen since. Actually, I saw it was one person who lives in a house, who's already sold his house and is moving from our town, which is the best thing that could happen because I don't want to see anyone in person again who saw me. But anyway, I come back. My wife looks at me and she's like, what the fuck happened to you? Like, not... That was her eyes said.
I picture that scene from Old School when Will Ferrell's streaking down the road and the girl and the wives pull up.
Yeah,
only instead of you streaking, you're just like blood just coming out of you everywhere.
Her eyes said like, "What the fuck happened to you?" Her mouth was just like, "Are you okay? What the like?" Just like I'm just kind of like she knows I've ruined basically their day, and she's like, "Well, you gotta go to hospital." I'm like, "No shit. Like, take me to the fucking hospital. Let's go to the fucking hospital." And so we go to an urgent care center instead of going to the hospital. You guys have gone to urgent care?
Not for a broken nose, no.
But have you gone to urgent care? Do you know what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's where you're dying, but you still have to wait 3.5 hours.
yeah.
I don't know. The one I went to was a really short wait. I feel like urgent care is better because you don't have to wait. Like, I feel like if you go to the emergency room, you have to wait 3.5 hours for a bullet wound, much less like a broken nose. So we go to the urgent care, and it actually like so once the blood stopped, once it stopped bleeding, it wasn't so bad. The woman with the doctor was like, yeah, it's broken. I'm like, you want to run some tests? She's like, okay, I guess. The doctor, she said it was broken. The radiologist, who actually I guess is the final say on this, didn't think it was broken. I think it was just bad. It might have just been badly bruised. But I now had basically a fucked up nose, where like
This story would be a lot better if this happened to Jay.
I know it would be, Jack, right?
Why?
I don't know. But all I can picture when Mark's talking, I could just picture Jay's body, it all happening too.
I also think I don't think my nose even looked that different. Like it was covered. There was cuts basically, and I guess it was a little bit like bigger from like being like bruised. But like my wife was like, "Oh my god, it looks horrible," and I'm like, "I think you just looked at me for the first time. Like, I don't think it looks that different." And I feel like it was like also the license for everyone that like around me to be like, "My God, what happened to your nose?" I'm like, Let's bore with it. Fuck. This is what I look like. Okay, leave me the fuck alone.
So, final answer, it was broken?
And I went to the doctor again. I think basically I went to a doctor again, another doctor, who was like, basically, there's two types of breaks. One type of break where they have to do something about it, and another type of break where, whether it's broken or not, you just have to let it heal, and there's nothing they can do about it. And that's really kind of like, it wasn't like shifted or anyway. It was just kind of like, if it stays in the same position, it just heals. So that was the basic, which I never really actually got. I never got even an answer about whether it was broken or not, because the doctor was like, they had to have the X-ray sent over, and then he's like, "Oh, we can't open the X-ray here on the CD." And so he was like, "I'll get back to you after I look at the they had the X-ray. The radiologist sent over his report, and then the doctor never called me back. So I don't really know."
You had to go to two doctors to see if you had a broken nose. Couldn't like a first-year med student tell you that your nose is broken?
And they couldn't agree on it.
I know. Well, the urgent care thing, the first doctor says it's broken. Then the radiologist says it's not broken. Then I went to like a specialist afterwards. My wife's like, "You got to go to a specialist," and the specialist's like, "Well, do you have the X-ray?" So I have the X-ray sent over, and he's like, "They sent me in a file that I can't open." I'm like, "Why the fuck would they do it in a different file? Like, why would there be a format that the other doctor doesn't use?" And he's like, "This happened, so have the radiologist send me over the report." So he sent over the report, which I think it's healed.
I mean, in the future, you could just ask 10 random people on the street, "Hey, do you think my nose is broken?" and probably get a better synopsis than you did.
Yeah, seriously.
So that night we went to the fireworks thing, actually. And so I was like kind of, I mean, it was hurt, but I was fine. And I was feeling pretty good about it also. I was like, it doesn't even look broken. No one, there was a bunch of strangers. No one even said anything about it at the fireworks thing.
Well, it was dark.
It was dark.
Yeah.
So the next day I'm at the supermarket with with my daughter shopping, and I run into someone from my town who I do know, and I look, the second she looks at me, goes, "Oh my God, what happened to you?" It's that I was like, "Oh, great."
Hey, you're that guy from the podcast. What happened to your nose?
Oh, God. That was just like, oh. And then it was getting like, every day my kids wanted to examine my nose. They were like, "Daddy, can we look at your nose closer?" I'm like, "Sure." And my kids were offering me advice. They're like, my daughter's like, "When you go running, you need to stop at stop signs." I'm like, "Okay." And my son's like, "Daddy, don't go running. Please don't go running." Like, he's like scared I'm going to die out there. Like, I'm going to Vietnam.
Did your son say you wouldn't have broken your nose if you dressed like a girl?
Though, they keep making reference to it, like those kind of things. Like they're like, "Daddy, don't run too fast." Like he was riding his bike and I was running alongside him, and he's like, "Daddy, don't run too fast. You're gonna break your nose."
Oh, you'll never forget that.
Or they're at the pool today, and I'm like, I tell my daughter, like, "Don't run while you're at the outside the pool." And she's like, "Yes, I don't want to break my nose."
Daddy, when you're walking, don't trip over your own feet.
Oh my God! And now when I've gone running since, because I'm not gonna like, I'm gonna slay that beast. I'm not gonna be like scared of running.
Watch out for that curb.
Watch out for that curb. I don't know how but now I'm like being extra careful when I run, because I'm like, I can't fall again anytime soon. And you know
now, what happened? Have you sneezed around your kids? Have they said, "Careful, don't sneeze, you'll break your nose"?
You know what? Also, so I like running. It's
can you imagine if you sneezed and re-broke your nose in front of your kids, and then for the rest of their life they just think sneezing is like this traumatic thing?
They're like they catch a cold. They're like, "Oh my God, my nose!" They're like, people are like, what are you talking about? This is how you break your nose. You catch a cold. Yeah. So that. Oh, what else was I gonna add to the? That was pretty much it. It was. I just keep getting basically that kind of thing basically about the. And then now today I got some sunburn on my nose. At the pool. So my daughter was like, had to look at my nose, and she's like, "It still looks bad." I'm like, "It's sunburn. It's not broken anymore." God.
So are you just now going to start telling people like you had a nose job, just to be like, "Oh, I got a nose job. What's the problem?"
That's also like when
I went to Jay's doctor. I got a bad nose job.
When it's broken, people are like, "Well, I hope you get the nose you want." I'm like, I'm not getting a nose job. I'm like, I'm not. Thanks for telling me I need a nose job. I get it. I have a big nose.
I got a nose job. My goal is to make my nose bigger.
Yeah. That's also
I want my nose to be Jewier if possible.
like growing up.
Can
like,
you add
there's
a
certain
hook to it, please?
there are certain things you can feel like insecure about. And my nose, I feel insecure about a little bit. And so I'm like, great. The thing I feel most insecure about now just got whacked in the face, and so everyone's looking at it. It's like I have a third nipple, and the world's like, look at my third nipple.
So I'm glad there was a traumatic story that didn't involve me for the first time in like 2 months. Not that I'm glad you broke your nose.
Trauma to add, Jay? Anything new? Did you get your test results, or?
No, I had 2 auditions for a game show.
Hey, before you go into a game show thing in 1 second, beyond that, I'm falling apart because beyond that, my basement flooded recently also. Like, just having like the run of like things like going wrong. Like I went down to our basement, and I stepped on the floor, and I heard a swoosh of water, and I was like, "That's not what you're supposed to hear when I step on the floor in the basement." And there was a huge leak, basically, that was a puddle, basically a lake of water underneath the floor.
So owning a house sounds great too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun. Like, you can wake up. We were supposed to go to like a wedding that day. It was like one of my wife's friends, and I was like, well, I can't go to the wedding now. I have to deal with our flooded basement. She's like, if this was your friend, you just go to the wedding. I'm like, our basement is flooded. Yeah.
Typical woman. I knew that would come up. Yeah.
Good excuse for getting out of the wedding. I'm like, it's our basement. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, remember the 0 times we've dealt with this in our life?
Right.
So she caught you flooding the basement, huh?
Yeah, she caught me flooding the basement.
You really wanted to get out of that wedding.
Yeah. I was kind of like, I do get out of this wedding at least.
I mean, mopping up a basement and going to a wedding seems about an equal amount of fun.
Pretty much.
Well, here's the problem though. The floor we have, like when you have to think about the fact that if your basement gets flooded, if the water's underneath it, then there's a chance of fungus growing, basically. Like the black mold you have in your apartment? Mm-hmm. Even though, like, Jay, you're almost 40. Who gives a shit at this point, Jay? You can just breathe the black mold. But I have kids, so, like, I probably would go to jail if I let them breathe the black mold. So I have to, like, deal with this. So I had to have, like, a whole crew. I had to file an insurance claim. I had a crew come in.
But you broke your nose, you probably can't smell it anyway.
Yeah. They had to rip out the floor, and they had to, like, actually, this happened like the week before I broke my nose.
This must have made your snoring really, really good.
Oh God! Oh my God! Yes, my wife's loving looking at me. She's like, "Oh, great! Your nose is bigger and you're snoring, and yeah, this is wonderful."
And we have a waterbed now.
Yeah. They had to rip out the whole floor in the basement and like dry out the walls to make sure there's no mold growing in them. And then we had to have like a whole new floor put in and.
Was your basement finished?
Actually, now it's done. They finished, and we ended up switching our house from oil to gas, and like, I think we had insurance covered like $7,000 or $8,000, and then we spent like another $10,000 or $12,000 on this.
Jesus.
Yeah, owning a house is awesome, Jay. You should get one.
Did one guy say he doesn't know how the basement flooded, and the other guy said I do, and I'm going to send it to you in a different format?
Oh my god! So this is I'm waiting for what's next. Jay, so what happened with your auditions?
So I tried out for a game show that is now. They told me not to talk about it until I find out if I get on or not. But since the show started, since the show started airing, I'm assuming I did not get on. So it was Beat Shazam. I had 2 auditions and I did really good, but I think I wasn't.
Did you wait, Jay? Did you do really, really well, there, Jay? Because you're not on the show.
Well, I think
you can't say I did really well, but I didn't get on. Like you didn't do well. Apparently.
Yes, I can.
I watched a couple episodes of it.
No, I did. I did really, really well on it. I think I wasn't bubbly enough. I think that was the problem. Because, so basically, for those of you who haven't seen the show, they play a clip of a song and you got to guess what song it is. And so when I'm doing the audition, you audition with a friend, and he holds up 4 song titles, and this is like through Skype. So the guy holds up on a piece of paper 4 song titles, and he starts playing a song. And my buddy and I got the first 4 songs within 2 notes. And so he said, all right, I'm not going to give you guys the sheet of paper anymore. And so he started playing the songs without the 4 choices. And we got the next 4 within like 2 or 3 notes too. And he's like, wow, you guys slayed it. So we thought it was like a done deal, but then they never called us back. So I think it's really hard to get excited about guessing a song correctly over Skype, especially since he was running like an hour and a half late. So we were kind of just sitting in my buddy's apartment, just waiting and getting tired and bored. So like, I don't know. I tried to get as excited as I could, but I think they were looking for that like over the top game show bullshit.
Right.
So I think that was my undoing, because as far as like musical knowledge, we destroyed it.
Maybe you'll be on season 2.
Could be.
Do you think they're necessarily, are they definitely looking for that? Like in the sense of like Jeopardy, you assume they're looking for the people that just know the most. But maybe they're not.
I've taken the test for Jeopardy a couple times.
How did you do? Or
I haven't been on Jeopardy yet, so.
I took it once and got my ass kicked. It was really hard.
I took the sports one, and I thought I did well on it, but I never heard anything. So.
But
I wonder for the shows like this Shazam thing. Like, are they probably aren't necessarily looking for the people to get everything right as much as looking for like good people for the show.
Yeah, maybe we did too good, and they didn't want to give us $1 million.
Or maybe they're looking for like, I don't know. Have you seen the show? Like, what are the people like on the show?
I haven't watched it. It started airing while I was in Japan, so
it's been on a couple weeks. I watched like I forgot. I always forget it's on, so I always watch like the last 5 minutes of it.
Are the
My
people
dad
like
watched
super
it,
bubbly?
and he said one of the episodes the guy like knew there was like 2 guys. They were like football players. They didn't know anything.
The first audition I did, the guy actually, one of the song titles was a lyric from the song, but not the song title, and he queued the song up right to that lyric. So you're trying to go fast, and so I got that one wrong, and I thought I had a really good like, oh my god, I got it wrong reaction. But that one I auditioned with Martin, and I don't think they liked Martin.
No.
But again, who knows what they're looking for? Because like,
Think about a show like that. It's like if you know anything about music, you'll do well because they're not going to play like obscure songs. It's
exactly. They're not
hits.
playing deep cuts. It's all going to be hits because they're covering every genre of music, so they can't.
Yeah.
Maybe you need a better personal story. You should have told him like, oh, what are you going to do with the winnings? Oh, I'm going to finally pursue my dream as being a video editor. And they're like, that's your dream? Yeah. Oh, you're on.
But they didn't ask anything. They said like, what's your name, age, and where do you live? And that's like the only questions they asked.
But don't forget though, they do that for like 1,000 people. So
yeah,
it's not like there was 20 people and they didn't pick you. I mean, they probably went all over too.
Oh yeah. I'm just saying like they were looking for something other than musical knowledge, because if it was just musical knowledge, I would have been on.
Was it fun to like? Was it a fun audition?
The first one was not fun because again the guy was running like 2 hours late, but it was Friday, and he just seemed like he did not want to be there, and like we could tell like his mood just took the wind out of our sails. So like, oh shit, this guy doesn't even want to do this. The second time it was the same guy, but he was like friendly and I don't know. We had a much better time with it. Yeah. So that was almost something.
So the other night my son came home. He was out with his grandfather and came home with a toy. What is the worst toy someone could buy for your kid?
A kazoo.
Pet rock.
Something loud. It's got to be something that makes noise.
An air horn.
Oh my god.
Take it and give it to me.
A manually powered air horn. I
want one. Give it to me.
Holy crap. He started doing he came home and started doing it. I said to my father-in-law, I'm like, did you just hate me? Why would you do this?
Well, it's a good thing you're not in an apartment anymore, because you would have been evicted.
They went and they got it. Yeah, that was a good thing. Good thing about living in a house, you could pay for a basement and live with an air horn. It was at the dollar store he got it. And then, not only do I have to listen to the air horn going off, which I wanted to break so badly, my daughter threw herself on the ground screaming because she wanted one, and my son would give it to her. So either my house has too many or too few air horns.
Ouch.
The next day, we finally get the air horn. Like, also, my son's going to sleep at night. I'm like, you cannot have the air horn in your room because I picture him at 5 in the morning, start playing with the air horn, and wake up the whole goddamn family.
And maybe neighborhood.
So I hide the air horn, and then like he's kind of forgotten about the next day. We get to like my daughter had soccer, and my father-in-law meets us at soccer with another air horn for my daughter. Because why not have both kids trying to kill me?
Oh, he's messing with you.
So your kid's 5. So you could have convinced him that it was a dream that he had the air horn.
Yeah. Oh my God, he's kind of forgotten. He hasn't been playing about it as much.
Is it one of those like the can, like where you?
No, because that would run out of air. And that would be at least I'd be like, do it all now and let's break it.
Yeah.
It's almost like a basketball pump, but instead of like filling up your basketball, it makes your ears bleed.
Okay.
Oh, he really hates you.
Send him to me, Mark. I want him.
Oh my God, I would love to. And I've been wanting to break it. Like my son would do it. Like it's kind of mean to say to your son, like he's playing with a toy, and when he uses the toy properly, you threaten to break it.
Well, no, that's when you got to be like, hey, can I try? And then try and break it. Be like, oh no.
Luckily, at first I was like, luckily my daughter can't do it, so I was like, at least she can't do it. But then she realized if she banged it against the ground, boom, the air horn thing goes off, and
look, your air horn's broken, like my nose.
I'm like a 3-year-old can use this product. This product sucks.
Careful, son, don't break that, or it'll end up like your air horn in my nose.
You know, son, your air horn's hurting my nose. You don't want Daddy's nose to break again, do you? Also, I've discovered. You know how people would say like, "I don't even own a TV." You know what the new version of that is? Did you know I'm not?
Computer?
No, the new version of that is. Do you know I'm not even on Facebook?
Yeah.
Like, have people said that to you, and you're like, "Go fuck yourself."
I'm super impressed.
Yeah, you're like, I talked to someone, and they were like, I'm like, oh, blah, 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 about someone on Facebook, and they're like, I'm not even on Facebook. I'm like, I understand people that don't go on it that much, whatever, but to tell me you don't have an account, and you're telling me about that you don't have an account, this is like something you feel good about the fact that you don't have an account. This is like it defines you not having an account. I bet you don't own a TV, and I bet you're fucking an asshole.
I'm a minimalist.
Ooh,
He's probably also a vegan too.
I'm not even on Facebook. Oh, good for you. Good. I'm glad you're one of. There's 1 billion fucking people on there, but you're not on it. Good for you.
I don't even break my nose when I run.
Yeah, exactly. My basement doesn't even flood.
You guys want to do some questions?
Oh, I got one more story I want to share.
Okay, we'll do the Pat Cooper story next week.
Yeah. So, just to talk about the what I'm doing to my town. We've talked about the library story, right?
Yes.
So I recently, my wife and I got someone in our town fired.
All right.
Was it for a video that you stole and blamed on somebody else, or Buck?
So my son goes to this like book club thing. One of the other kids, the parent, he was doing this book club thing on Sundays, and they asked if we wanted to do it also. And we're like, yeah, sure. My son's learning to read. If he goes to like a book club, I'm not sure what kind of book club they have for a 6-year-old or a 5-year-old, sorry. But I'm like, whatever. He's learning to read. Any kind of reading he could do outside of school would probably be good. If he goes with his friends, that maybe like they'll even encourage him even more to read. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like a good idea, right?
Yeah,
sure.
So he's been going to this thing for like probably the last 5 or 6 months. Seems like he's having fun there. But then I dropped him off the other day, and I noticed I noticed there were only 3, or I picked him up. There were only 3 other kids there, and I was like, oh, everyone else got picked up like earlier. My son's like, no, this is how many people are in the class. But I'm like, I've dropped you off here before or picked you up, and there's been like 10 or 12 kids, but none of them are in the class anymore. They've all dropped out.
Quitters.
And I was like, yeah. I'm like, well, that's kind of annoying. And like, he has like an arts and crafts project every week, and I'm like, well, what are you guys reading in school in the book club? And he goes, we don't read there. I'm like, you don't read in the book club?
Nobody reads in book club. They go and drink wine.
it's also like when I picked them up, the teacher made a point about how the entire class was just so misbehaved, and all the kids when I picked them up, they're all pointing at each other, they're like Zach was bad, and I'm like he was bad. They're like joking about how bad they were in class, and so I'm like the teacher has no control over the class, and apparently a bunch of people didn't think she had control over the class, so they dropped out, and we looked at the schedule and we were like, there's like 7 or 8 more weeks to go of this class, and I'm like if they're not even reading, I don't want my kid going to this thing anymore. What's the point of going to this thing if they're not even reading? And his friends have all dropped out of it. I called the woman and I was like, hey, not for nothing, but you called the book club and they don't read. And the woman goes, oh my God, I didn't know there was reading going on, and I'll talk to the teacher and we'll fix that. I'm like, there's 6 weeks to go in the class. Can we just have our money back for the last 6 weeks? We don't want to go anymore. We just want our money. She's like, well, can we have a second chance? I'm like, second chance? It's been going on for the last 6 months, and you jack shit to monitor the class. You have no idea what's going on. We just want our money back. And she's like, well, I'll look into it and get back to you. 2 hours later, we get an email from the teacher from the class saying she no longer works there, and she apologized to all of us, or she's like thanks us all for our time, and my wife and I are like, oh, we just got her fired because clearly the woman just fired her after talking to me. And so the woman's out of a job. And then the woman says, I'm going to try to find a replacement teacher. If anyone knows anyone, let me know. And I'm like, let you know if you're a replacement teacher? There's 6 weeks to go in the fucking class, and you're asking us for ideas. Don't ask us for ideas. Just give us our fucking money back.
So where did you find this place?
Oh, my God. We just took a recommendation from another family.
And how many goddamn activities are your kids in? Like, did you have to get a third job?
My kids do a lot of activities. I don't want to be an overscheduler, but like my kids have done skating, basketball.
Seriously,
soccer.
Your kids have done more than I have in my.
They've done a lot,
life.
and they haven't broke their nose. That's pretty good.
My daughter's in gymnastics, dance, and soccer right now, and my son was. Yeah, they do a lot of activities, I guess. I don't know. His schedule was on Sundays. He had book club and then tennis.
Guys, got a busy life.
It's a suburb. I don't know. You have to keep your kids busy. You have to do something with them.
Yeah, you get them an Xbox and throw them in their room.
Yeah, well, Jay, my kid might be my kid won't play as many. I don't know. I'm fighting off the video games thing. I don't want the video game thing to because once they start playing video games, that's really addictive, and they'll just play video games all day.
Yeah, no, that'll be it, because they're like, wow, this is way more fun than going out in the hot, humid weather and kicking a ball around.
Exactly. Not even close.
Dad, you're a dick. Why'd you do this to me all these years?
Yeah, no. So I they're not all the kids aren't playing video games yet. Like in a couple of years, they're all going to be playing video games, and then then we have to get a video game system. But like right now, we don't have to get one. But anyhow, the woman was like, we're like, hey, instead of you looking for a teacher, we emailed back. Instead of you looking for another teacher, how about again you just give us our money back because you're asking us for ideas. And so like a day later, the woman emails us everyone and goes, I'll send me all your PayPal info. I'll send everyone's money back. It'll probably take like 6 to 8 weeks to get your money back. And I was like, hey, PayPal doesn't work like that. PayPal actually you can get me my money back within the hour. Why do you need 6 to 8 weeks?
That's the way it always is. They take their money instantly, and it takes months to get it back. That's the way everything.
I don't know.
You should have volunteered to teach the class, and you could have got a second paycheck.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I would have got my money back for the class. But anyhow, basically, as of my conversation with the woman about the class, when I called her, the result of that was the class was canceled for everyone, and the teacher was fired.
Good job.
I'm doing good things in my town. The woman's like, oh, there'll be no Christmas this year because some asshole wanted his son to read books.
It was the guy with the big bloody nose.
Yeah. Okay,
Jeez,
you want to do questions?
we flooded the guy's basement. And he won't get the hint. He won't leave town.
Yeah, they're pouring ants down your drains. They're flooding your basement.
They hired that babysitter to come over.
This guy just won't get the hint.
Yeah, I mean, jeez. What do we have to do for this guy?
By the way, can I give you the most interesting fact I heard recently?
Sure.
This is not really my kids. But in 2015, Pornhub said users watched 2.5 billion hours of porn on Pornhub, which is apparently longer than the history of time.
Sounds about right.
But the best part of it is one server. Like there's obviously.
I was
other
just about to
porn
say
sites.
that's just one of like a billion sites.
Yeah. So you have to assume like it has to be at least twice or three times that or more porn. I just love the fact that they were like, it's longer than the history of time. Okay.
Lorenzo writes.
And then my kid's like, why are you happy playing video games all these years? Once I found out about this porn thing, it's even better.
Yeah. Hey guys, thoughts throughout your working lives, have you worked as both blue collar and white collar employees, not at the same time? I have done both at the same place of work, and it's interesting how the dynamic changes in your relationship to those you have left behind once you are promoted. Here at this job, I have a good mate who is blue collar while I am white collar. Away from work, we catch up, it's all good. But at work social event, all the white collars hang together and the blues do too. Any similar experiences?
I've only done white collar.
What's like a blue collar job outside of a
Like a factory.
I guess what does selling shoes at Foot Locker count as?
Don't ever mention you did that.
Well, I did that, so what does it count as?
I had a job at Toys R Us where my entire job was just unloading boxes off the truck. That's pretty blue collar.
Actually, I worked at a gas station, and all we did was blow stuff up at night.
What did you blow up?
The parking lot, just anything we found.
But how did you blow things up? I guess
With the gas from the gas station. We just fill a gas can and put it in the empty bays and throw shit in there. And
I've never done a full-time part. These are all part-time jobs, I assume, for guys.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've never done a full-time job that was I've never done a full-time blue-collar job. I've only done full-time white-collar jobs, which makes me sound like a Northeast liberal asshole.
I had a job where I had to do supermarket resets, which is where they give you a section, like the detergent, and you have to take everything down, rearrange the shelves, and put it back up according to like whatever plan they want. So that was that was pretty blue collar.
But was it a full-time job?
Yeah, that was full time.
Oh, when did you do it?
Right after I graduated college. Because
Were you glad you had your college degree at that point?
that is what a $100,000 communications degree gets you.
Did you think about doing scared straight talks at schools about for communication majors?
Yeah. Don't let this be you. Lorenzo writes, hey guys, what are your thoughts on people who say life is too short every time someone passes away? My wife says this all the time, yet I don't know what she expects us to do with 2 kids under 6. It's crazy enough to make a trip to the grocery store with them, let alone some crazy trip around the world because life is too short.
Life's not too short.
Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, if life, like I'm supposed to be like, oh, life's too short, honey. Let's freebase tonight.
I mean, in the grand scheme of time, compared to that porn stat that Mark just mentioned, yeah, life is short. But I mean, like I'm almost 40. Like 40 years is a long time.
Yeah,
what are you saying, Brian? You're almost done?
Yeah, I hope so.
I have to say also, just as far as kicking your kids to this, like my thing I brag about these days is that I can go to the supermarket with my 2 kids and survive. My wife's like, she just can't do that. She could not take her 2 kids to the supermarket and survive.
But you can't run by yourself.
But I can't run by myself now. I run by myself. I come back. By the way, this is why.
Jay, isn't it nice to be on the other end of this?
Yeah, it is. I like it.
Here's what I meant to add. So I've been running for many years.
time
I
for
like
everything.
running. It's a good form of exercise. I used to run in the city a lot. Never fell. No issue. This is not the first time I've fallen. This is the fucking 3rd time I've fallen. The other 2 times I fell on like the sidewalk, my hands braced me, so I came back with like some cuts on my hands and some cuts on my knee, but never broke my nose. But this is apparently since I moved to the suburbs, I've become unable to run without falling. I think I have I might have some early onset of some terrible disease I don't know about.
Sounds like it.
Lorenzo writes, hey guys, it's performance review time in the office. Mark, can you please role play Brian Jay's performance reviews? This is what Mark needed, egging on to role play.
Jay, I like we're gonna focus on the last 2 weeks. It's like you haven't even been here, Jay. Nothing's gotten done since you've been last 2 weeks. What do you have to say for yourself, Jay?
Well, I feel like the show's really coming together now. Since I got back.
I thought it was like your actual job. Oh, we're doing role play about the show, a performance review. I thought I was going to your actual workplace. Because we were not on the same page for this bit.
No,
yeah, that's what I thought it was too. I thought it was our work one.
I was gonna make. My whole joke was that you were like away in like Thailand the whole time, and I had no idea you were gone.
You know what? You read it right. I read it wrong.
Fine, we'll do a performance review on the show. Jay.
Well, now you're
you know
doing it wrong.
Jay, you know what sucks about you, Jay? Your name's not Peter. Brian.
It says all the listeners who downloaded the episode.
Sir,
Brian.
yes, sir.
Brian, you know what sucks about you?
I'm
you
sober?
let Jay on the show.
Right.
How do you like that performance review?
Dave.
But Brian, why are you so good at reading questions and understanding them, unlike Jay?
I'm not reading them. I'm just listening and interpreting.
Why don't we, Jay? Why don't we let Brian read more questions? Why don't you give Brian more responsibility?
Because I flunked your son's reading class.
Yeah, and for those that are interested, my son's learning to read without having the book club thing. So fuck you, club.
Jason writes.
Do you think everybody dropped out of that class because the kid who wore the dress was in it?
That kid was not actually in it, but yeah.
Maybe your son's a huge bully and you don't even know it.
That how awful would that be? If like I found out, like I heard like that kid like with the one that cross dressers is like getting bullied and was my son. That would be I would feel. Jay, how terrible would you feel about it if you raised a kid that was a bully?
But bullies have existed forever. Now all of a sudden bullies are bad.
But you have to think like bullies. Do you want to raise a kid to be a bully though?
No.
Would you feel bad about yourself?
A little bit.
Yeah, I feel bad about it. I'd be like, I must be a really bad parent if my kid has to like feel so angry he has to like belittle other kids.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I I taught you better.
I would encourage my kid to be a bully or raise him to be, but I mean, bullies have existed forever.
Okay, well, why don't we cut to Jay with his son? Daddy, I like to beat up kids that are weaker, because that's how you raised me.
That's pretty much the exact opposite of how I raised you.
But Daddy, I listen to your podcast, and that's what...
You seem angry on the podcast. You curse a lot.
Well, I got bullied a lot as a kid.
Daddy, why don't
you got bullied on the podcast?
Daddy, why don't you marry Mommy? You guys have been dating forever.
Go to your room.
Daddy, why is my name also Cat?
It's easy to remember if everyone has the same name.
Jackie Chan.
Jason writes, was hearing that last episode and Jason mentioned his secret Jew white money people investment fund. Why would Mark invest on Facebook? They won't have all the youth and cool kids using Facebook. Social media is not cool when your parents are in it too. Remember MySpace. Come on, guys.
So Facebook seems to be more proven, doesn't it?
Is social media supposed to be cool at this point?
So I've been looking at some stocks because I am trying to like put money into those funds. Some of these funds...
Why don't you buy Apple 30 years too late?
Yeah, some of these stocks, like, how do you even... Like, oh, let's get Facebook stock. It's like $800 a stock. What am I going to buy, like, one stock?
Amazon's almost $1,000.
Yeah.
Amazon, by the way, buying Whole Foods. Are they going to buy everything?
Amazon and Google are going to be, like, the only two companies in the world.
So, Jay, what stock... So, it's been a week, Jay. Is your money still sitting in cash?
13 out of 15,000 of it is invested.
Oh! What do you invest in, Jay?
Well, 11,000 of it, they have like a managed portfolio. So they like, they do everything for me. So that
how long was this money uninvested?
About 4.5 years.
So after 4.5 years, you went with their default investment choice.
Yeah, I probably screwed myself out of about $10,000 doing that.
It took you 4.5 years to go with. I'll just
click submit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took me about 45 seconds.
4.5 years to go. I'll take your most basic package.
Yeah.
So the other $2,000, what are you going to do with that?
Well, at first I took that tip of that guy who told me to get AMD stock when it was $2 a stock. And
wait, you took it now?
Well, yeah, it went from 2 to 12, so I screwed myself out of about 20 grand there. So then I bought a bunch of it, and then it went down to 11.44, so I lost about $65.
So Jay, you're like,
Doing
listen,
good, Jay.
I made
Jay, you stick with the default.
You wait for this. You wait. You're like, NBA finals are over. I bet I'll put all my money in the Cavs now. I'll get really good odds.
on Friday I made $3, so I'm turning this ship around.
Well, drinks are on you, dude. And well, I guess the drinks are you if we ever go to like a country where $3 could buy drinks.
Jason writes. Speaking.
Wait. What are you gonna do for the rest of the money? Is all 2,000 in the AMD or what else?
No, I sold that. So I have three different stocks right now.
Wait, you sold AMD already?
Yeah, I was hemorrhaging money from it.
Wait, you bought it at $12. It went down to 11.44 a day later, and you sold it?
Yeah, I read.
Jay was going to sell at $11.99. What are you talking about?
I read I read the outlook for the stock, and they said it's going to keep going down.
Where did you read the outlook though? Like just some random article you found in Yahoo?
There's like
or Google.
There's a website, stockinvest.com.
Was that article available the day before when you purchased the stock?
He found it at Breitbart.
Infowars said it was going to go down.
I wonder if I could buy Infowars stock.
Wait, but so was this? Did you look up any articles about the stock before you bought it?
Apparently not.
So that article, which probably was dated prior to the purchase of the stock, that said don't buy it. You read that eventually and goes, oh, I should have bought that stock yesterday. They told me not to buy. What about the long game? Don't you want to play the long game with the stocks?
Yeah, the long game said not to buy that stock.
So what else are you buying?
I'm trying to find stuff like under $20 because I bought Box Inc., which made me about $7 so far.
What's Box Inc?
I have no idea. Had a good market outlook.
Are you don't even know what a company does?
No, I don't know what any of these companies are. I just bought a bunch of random stocks, and we'll see what happens. New Mountain Financial and Nobilis Health Corp.
I'm going to say sitting in cash was probably a better strategy for you, Jay. This is the worst strategy I've ever heard in my life. You don't even know what the companies do. So how did you pick the stocks? Like, you didn't, like, did you just, like, throw a dart at the stock page?
No, I go to that Stock Invest site. Well, first I look up, like, tips. Like, who's that stupid TV guy, Kramer?
You're the one person on earth still following Kramer's advice?
No, if he says, like, buy this stock, then I go to that Stock Invest site, and then I'll look it up, and they usually say the opposite of what he says. But
what site? Is it stockinvest.com? What is it, Morningstar? What is it?
No. Like, I don't know.
Infowars Invest.
It's called buyyesterdaystock.com.
Infowarsinvest.com.
Alternativefacts.com. It's stockinvest.us.
Okay, so a site that no one else has heard of. Jay, do you think your strategy is going to work out?
I will keep you posted.
Okay. Bride, do you think Jay's strategy is a good strategy for investing?
I know nothing about investing, and even I don't think that's a good idea.
Why don't you just pick companies that you've heard of before or knew something about?
Because they're all, like, ridiculous amounts of money. Like I said, what am I going to buy, like, Amazon stock for $1,200? That's, like, my whole budget.
Yeah, but if it goes up, it can still go up. Okay, let's go to the questions.
Jason writes, speaking of laptops, I was about to waste $3K on an Apple laptop until I found out I can't connect to nothing on it unless I use a dongle. Why do hipsters like Mark love Apple so much, always trying to be trendy?
Did we do this question already?
Probably.
Yeah,
like last week?
Like it.
Yeah. Jay, stop playing with your dongle.
Jaime writes, so Mark and the Mets have some shitty luck. Do you think they should trade someone before the deadline? And what do you think about who we got in the draft? Also, Jay, I'm going to keep asking Mets questions. Thank you, Jaime.
Are you on Facebook or are you on
Facebook?
Email?
I did the emails. The Brink of Sanity. The Brink of Sanity at gmail.com is the email.
So, Bri, everyone's injured still?
Yeah.
Now Lagares is injured?
Yep.
What the fuck? What do you think of the draft pick?
I don't know.
He's a high school pitcher. I mean, he's a college pitcher, so
Who knows?
I don't know. Who the hell knows what those look like? It's not like
He's
anyone's
probably-
like, I've been following college baseball and I know about this guy.
The only people that know anything about him are the people from his like hometown, pretty much.
I mean, or people that are scouting them, I guess. But
Mm.
no average. Who watches college baseball? Is there really a big audience for that?
I don't know. I guess people watch the College World Series, which is like going on now, even though college has been out for like 6 weeks, which I find confusing.
Wait, College World Series is going on now?
I think so, or maybe it just ended.
I have no idea. Like it's a good true and false. Is the College World Series going on right now?
I know the softball or girls, if they play softball or baseball, like just ended because a lady I work with watches it every night.
Oh, so you work with a lesbian?
No, she just is I don't know. She just likes women's sports.
She's like, did you see what Amy McDonald did? She pitched a great game. You're like, the hell are you talking about? Women's softball. What? College women's softball. The hell are you talking about?
Jaime
go on.
writes, if you had to change one thing about this world, what would it be?
Bri,
Thinking.
I feel like you have a lot of things you change, Bri.
Yeah, I don't know if I can narrow it down to one.
I would change I would change the existence of corporations. I feel like the way, not to be too socialist, but I feel like the way they're all public corporations are driven for money caused a lot of problems here. I also would change the fact that most people don't have food or water. I would change a lot of things about our fucked up world.
What kind of loser doesn't have food and water?
Like I saw something they were talking about like the top 1%, and they're like, forget talking about the top 1% in the U.S. If you earn like 30 grand, you're in the top 1% of the entire world.
Really?
That's your dream, or that's
No,
What?
like just like financially, because
Oh.
most of the world is so poor. If you earn like 30 grand a year, and I forget the exact number was, you're
Yeah.
really in the top 1% of earnings in the entire world.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So we're all 1%ers.
all right.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Things are gonna change. I could feel it.
If I'm gonna say something minor, I guess I would say that I would change people. When people throw cigarettes on the floor, on the ground when they're walking, I'd have them executed.
Why don't you just have the cigarettes explode?
Yeah, that's true.
I would change it so that. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I had this. How about the sidewalks in my town be fucking level so I don't break my nose?
I would eliminate religion.
John Lennon sang a song about that.
Was hearing okay. Jaime
Oh, I don't
writes-
get to say mine.
Oh,
What's yours, Bri?
Every time I snap my fingers, everyone on the planet who's riding a motorcycle will fall off and die.
How about this? If I could change one thing, I would have everyone when they wake up in the morning download Brink. That makes it more popular.
we could
I
do
would
a
change Jay being a video editor.
we could do a U2 and just force download it on everybody.
I would change Jay's dream from being a video editor to being an audio editor, because I feel like that'd be even funnier. Not that he'd be able to get there, just the fact that he couldn't get there.
Jaime writes, have the 7-Elevens you've been to now, Jay, disappoint you since you've been to Japan or wherever the fuck you went? Yeah, they don't live up to the heights that I have seen.
Can we cut to Jay walking into a 7-Eleven? Oh, wow, you guys just have American... I've been to 7-Elevens in Japan, sir. They're better than here.
Jay, do you walk around with like the bag from the 7-Eleven over there, just to like walk in and be like, "Oh God."
Oh,
Yeah,
sir.
I was here. Yeah.
Sir, you have day-old hot dogs? When I was in the 7-Eleven in Thailand, they gave me a meal here.
and everybody was it was a whole family that worked here, in all of them.
Sir, do you have curry flavored Doritos? You don't? I guess that I have to go back to the Thailand 7-Eleven.
You call this a 7-Eleven?
Hi,
Yeah,
right.
Jay, do you make obnoxious comments now that when you're in 7-Eleven?
I do.
Telling everyone, do you have to let everyone in that 7-Eleven know you've been to other 7-Elevens in different countries?
I ordered Johnny Walker Black. I'm like, how can you not have it? The Thailand 7-Elevens all have Johnny Walker.
Oh, that's right. The last 7-Eleven I've been to was 10,000 miles from here because I'm a world traveler.
Jaime writes, have you seen Katie chugging the beer after they won the finals? No, I did not. I will look
But
it up.
good for him.
Rosario
Oh,
writes,
Bri, are you gonna come on? You have to come on the Knicks show and talk about how KD will never deliver and win anything.
Oh yeah,
Kevin Durant.
I've already asking everybody I work with, all the basketball fans, who they want me to trash next so they'll win a title next year.
So how about someone in the Knicks?
I don't know if my powers are that good.
That'd be that.
Rosario writes, guys, I'm considering getting a vasectomy. I see Mark's life, and besides a nice house, I don't want that life. Do you guys know anyone who has done it? Rob, who has guest hosted a few times, has done it.
Has he?
Yeah,
Wait, which one's? Oh, the Rob is the comedian.
the comic guy.
Wait, does he has kids?
He has two.
So I was thinking about that. It would be kind of nice. I don't actually want to have the procedure because that kind of scares me. But it'd be kind of nice not to be able to have kids anymore because then I would never have to use condoms again.
And then you wouldn't have to worry about buying them.
Yes, yes. I'd never have to worry about buying condoms, and I would like I don't want to have kids anymore. I don't want any access to have. I love my kids, but I don't want any more.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I've thought about that. It would be like a lot easier. I just don't necessarily. If I could just take a pill and be done with it, I think I would be kind of fine with that.
Yeah, it's not a pill.
Yeah, I know that.
Oh,
No, it's like a snip.
I was like,
would you
that would be funny if Mark thought it was a pill and his wife talked him into getting one.
Oh, I'll take a vasectomy and get the doctor. Where's the pill? Is there some water I could drink? Sir, we're cutting your genitals. Say what now?
Either of you guys watch that show, Brockmire?
Never even heard of it.
No. I've
Oh,
heard
you
is
gotta-
it.
It's great. You gotta watch it. Jay, it's what the fuck's his name? The dude from The Simpsons, Hank Azaria.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's like a drunk baseball announcer
Mhm.
who has like a major like meltdown like in the middle of a game, and he gets like disgraced and he disappears for like 10 years, and then he comes back, and Amanda Peet owns like a minor league team in like Shittsville, Pennsylvania, and it's really good. It's really funny. You've heard of it, Mark? It's worth a watch.
It's been recommended to me. I've heard it's good, but
Yeah.
I don't
There
think
were-
I have.
There was only like 6 or 7 episodes, I think. There weren't that many.
I think I don't have
IFC it was on.
Yeah, IFC. I don't think I have IFC. I don't know why I don't have IFC, but I'm actually looking right now because I've heard it's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jay, if you have IFC, and you
Oh,
get
maybe
some- it's only a half hour with commercials, so it's short.
Yeah, I
But
don't have
it's
IFC.
really funny.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, I guess
Well, then I won't ruin one of the jokes then, because there is something along what we were talking about. But
you can ruin it. I don't have IFC, so I'm probably not gonna watch it. What ruin the joke?
well, so he starts banging Amanda Peet through the whole season, or whatever, and she ends up they have a pregnancy scare, so they go to this doctor to have an abortion. So the doctor is like, he gives her like all these instructions, gives him these pills to take, and take one now and then take one like in 12 hours or whatever. So they're back at the hotel, and Hank Azaria's character is Brockmire, and they're like celebrating and they're drinking and doing coke and everything. And he comes out of the bathroom and there's a line of coke on the desk, and he goes over and he snorts it. And then she comes out and she goes, "Hey, where's my abortion pill? I poured it out because I don't take pills very well." So he was freaking out because he took the abortion pill and he didn't know what was going to happen to him.
Yeah, what the fuck would happen to a guy?
Like he wasn't sure if he was going to die, or so they had to go back to the doctor, and it was really funny.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
He's just like a drunk, and he does he has this like plaid jacket, and he does like the like goofy like baseball announcer voice,
Mhm.
and he's just drunk the whole time.
I'm sold. I'd watch the show.
Yeah.
So Zero writes, does it make sense to have a car in New York City in terms of all the cost? No.
Have a what?
Car.
Oh, a car. I thought you said a client. I was like, what?
No.
I'm gonna say no.
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 Parking alone, you need a second job for that.
When we first had a kid, we were talking about like whether we need like, cause my wife figured we had to go to like our family a lot more and take the kid, and we're not going to be using like the train to do that, so she wanted to get a car, and eventually like I did the math on doing Zipcar was a lot cheaper than actually owning a car.
Yeah.
Because owning a car in the city, you figure, let's say you're leasing the car. The lease is probably going to be like $300. Insurance is probably going to be another $300 or $400. A parking space is going to be like, no, actually insurance is probably $100. But or maybe $150. The parking space is going to be $300 to $400. Then gas, everything else, it adds up to like $900 a month. It's ridiculous.
Rosero writes, "What is the most expensive thing you have ever broke?"
Broken?
Bry's heart.
My soul.
Mine would probably be my first car.
How did you break it?
Actually, I don't know if I broke it, but it broke and I didn't know how to fix it, so I tried to abandon it on the side of a road. And I went with my friend, and I said, "All right, be a lookout for any cops, because you're not allowed to just strip your license plate and was it insurance sticker on the front." So so I'm unscrewing the license plate, and my friend says Jay, and I turn around and there's a cop standing right behind me. It's like, nice fucking lookout.
What did the cop say?
He said, "What are you doing?" And I said, my car stalled. I was just seeing if I could fix it. And he's like, "I saw what you were doing, so since you lied, I'm going to have this car towed and charge you for it." So I had to pay for the tow. I had to pay for the place that held the car. It was very expensive.
That sucks.
Yeah.
When I was
my laptop, but that wasn't that expensive.
When I was 6 years old, we went to visit my grandparents in Florida and go to Disney World. And I don't have a lot of memories of this trip. It wasn't it wasn't a good trip. And I remember my grandparents' TV broke, and everyone blamed me. And I'm pretty sure I didn't break the TV, but everyone was really mad at me for a lot of the trip. That wasn't really good. It wasn't a really good memory, but I think the TV must have been expensive. That was that. I guess so. In that story, what I broke that was really expensive was a young child's heart. Mine.
The trust of an old lady.
Yeah. Go to the next question, Jay.
Liam writes, "What is the most trouble you've ever been in?"
It was July 4th. We'd gone to some fireworks and friends, and
Do all your
Bad
stories
things
involve
happen when you go to fireworks.
Yeah, all your stories have fireworks.
Anyway, long of the short story, we got pulled over by the cops. We're in upstate New York, and I had definitely drank a lot that night. But like, luckily for me, we were with the friends who were a couple who spent like an hour fighting at some bar while we had like the other two of us had to like wait around. And that hour extra fighting basically sobered me up enough. But like they put me back in the police car, and I had to do a breathalyzer, and I was just fucking shitting my pants. I'm like, fuck, go to jail. This is fucking like worst thing ever. I blew the breathalyzer. I couldn't blow it for whatever reason, and I kept trying to do it, and they like, you're not blowing enough, sir. And they're like, we're gonna do this down the station. They were just like, the cops were total assholes about it. And eventually, they blew, and it blew like a .03, and so then they put me back in the car, and then this girl was with me. They were like, maybe you should drive instead. And we were like, everyone in the car were like, we at least know he passed the breathalyzer, so how about he drives?
Right.
But I was fucking shitting even afterwards, my heart was just like, would not stop racing for how scared I was.
Yeah, I had a breathalyzer once after 4 drinks. That was not fun.
What, you get pulled over, I assume?
Yeah, it was a trap. Like, there was like a dance club, and the cops would basically just park outside of it and then follow people on their way home and just randomly pull them over, hoping that they would get DUIs.
If I was a cop, I would just sit in a bar parking lot all night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why not? Brian, what's the most trouble you've ever gotten into?
I haven't been in a lot of trouble. When we got thrown out of the Fleet Center, that was pretty. Yeah,
that wasn't great.
Valentine's Day. That was close. I almost got arrested I was visiting a friend of mine who went to college in Poughkeepsie. Marist? Is Marist doing there? I think.
Sure.
And he was only 20, and we brought we brought so much beer, and the RA comes in, and he wrote up all my friend and all his roommates, and they're like, me and one of my other friends went to see him, and they're like, all right, you two have to leave, you can't be on campus anymore, and I was like, I'm not fucking leaving, and the guy's like, well, I'm getting the police, and he was calling the police while I was arguing with him. I was like, listen, I go, you just walked in. See all this beer? I just drank 20 beers, and you're sending me home to Connecticut. I go, I want your name, I want your phone number, I want your address, because if I get pulled over for DUI, I'm going to tell them that you sent me home. And he's like talking to the campus police. He's just like, click. Okay, you could stay. I wasn't cool. I'm trying to think, was I ever in trouble?
For me, physically,
I almost got nailed in a DUI checkpoint 2 years ago. I don't know how I got out of it.
Should we go fire around here or whatever speed?
Yeah. For me, physically, it's when my roommate and I, freshman year, were throwing snowballs at cars, and 7 dudes got out and kind of jumped us.
That was pretty
How
bad.
How about the fire in the fens? That was a close call.
That was too, yeah. Bri shows up at my job with a gallon of milk filled with gasoline while I'm working, and says, let's go to the fens and set it on fire. And
I was just there on Friday, too, and I walked by, and I was like, yeah, that's where we set the fire, right there.
The other guy who was working looked so afraid. And
Wow.
So we waited till he got off work, and we did it. And as we're running back toward the street, there's a car parked, right at the corner of the street.
A police car.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we were so stupid that we went back to our dorm, but we all changed clothes and then went back to see what was going on. We had black on, so we'll all just put white shirts on, and we don't smell like gas or anything.
All right, lightning round. Jason writes, why does Brian Mark have so much white guilt? Don't Mark see his children will have it way worse when they are older?
Do we have white guilt?
Yeah.
What is white guilt in the sense of what are we doing that?
I don't know.
What is white guilt?
Eros writes, Amazon just bought Whole Foods for $16 billion, yet Mark's stupid ass wants to invest in Facebook. What kind of Jew is Mark? No wonder his wife makes all the money. Mark, you freeloading fuck.
Amazon has tripled in value. Where do we get to the whole thing that my wife makes all the money? Anyway, Amazon has tripled in value in the last 3 years, or since 2015.
That's
So
pretty crazy.
So it's probably not a good time to buy the stock.
So Jay, now you should buy the stock.
Eros writes, Jason, when are we making a YouTube channel? It has to be some random, hot hammer smashing things. I know a guy who does car reviews, has 400,000 subs and makes about 11,000 a month off of it. Crazy, I know.
Wow.
Next year when I'm done with the CPA, we'll have a YouTube channel. Eros writes, guys, interested in investing in stocks like Amazon or Best Buy. How does it work in the lamest ways? Can it be done yourself, and is $10K a worthwhile amount to begin with? I think 10,000 is plenty to start with.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
I have a friend who he's been doing this for many years. He does he does day trading, where he works a day trading firm, and he invests a bunch of money at 9 a.m. right or 9:30 a.m. when the market opens, and sells it all at the end of the day. And every day does the same thing like that.
Huh.
Yeah. I don't know.
Hey guys, sorry for not posting a question for last episode. This is Alan. I was watching the British election coverage, laughing my ass off at our terrible prime minister. So what do you make of Trump canceling his state visit to Britain? Reason why he's scared of protest against them. Well, Mr. Snowflake, don't insult the mayor of London then.
What?
So Trump after the shooting, which shooting? Was this the London Bridge shooting or the?
It's hard to keep track of all the shootings.
There were a lot of shooting, or was it after the concert shooting? He
Trump's got to be pissed about the shooting at the baseball game because that was on his birthday. That just ruined his birthday.
Yeah.
I mean, Trump's also he was tweeting about it being they were saying is Trump being investigated? And Trump's like, I'm being investigated on Twitter. Yeah, I don't. Why did he pussied out of going to the UK?
I guess.
Yeah.
Alan writes, will you do a draft night podcast? Yes, we will. Alan writes, in the UK, we have 4 weeks off each year with pay. You'll get maternity pay and nearly 2 years off. Also, fathers get 2 weeks off paternity leave and pay. We also get free health care. Some people do pay for drug prescriptions. We have decent living standards, better than loads of Americans. So Jay and Mark moved to the UK. O'Brien, you can come to, better than that shithole of Canada.
Thanks for the invite.
Solid selling point. Can you promise me if I go to the UK, I will not be shot? Because it seems like a lot of people are getting shot in your country.
Or stabbed.
Or being in apartment fires. That
or
kill
run
everyone.
over by vans.
Yeah.
Liam writes, guys, I tried my friend's Oculus Rift. Holy shit, wow, amazing. And yes, I went to porn, and wow, I would say super close to real, especially 1080p porn. Wow, Jason, you're missing out. It's very good. Feels like she's in front of me. When they get to that 4K, it will be a problem.
I didn't catch any of that. What?
He said, you know what Oculus, you know what the...
No.
It's virtual reality.
That's where he lost me. I don't know what that is.
Virtual reality.
Oh, all right.
Do you the other thing where you generally know what it is? You wear like the headset.
Yeah,
like,
I mean I know what virtual reality is. Yeah.
Have you ever used it?
Yeah, I did one of those. Yeah, once.
I played it once. I was playing a baseball game and I almost knocked over a friend's chandelier. But it seems like it would be pretty addictive if it was porn. It seems like it's pretty addictive either way. I don't know. Jay, have you ever tried it?
No, I have not.
Oh, it is kind of cool. I kind of want to go to Best Buy now and like try it out there also, because I imagine they probably.
My girlfriend's son had it on his phone, and he let me wear it, and it was just, I was riding on a roller coaster.
Was it cool?
It was all right, yeah. And then there was another one he put me in. I was like in a room, like in a house, and it was cool because you could just like look around and see stuff. And then I would look up at the ceiling, and the ceiling said, "Don't look up, like look else, like nothing to see here," or something like that. Like, don't waste your time looking up here. Which I thought was kind of interesting, but
it'll probably get like a lot cooler also in the next like 10 years.
And Liam writes, Jason, you glad you're not a father? I mean, talk about most resource-sucking thing ever, being a millennial. I think having kids is super overrated. There is already too many damn kids, damn humans, and we're living way too long. Mark's kids are going to have a hard time paying for Social Security, especially since he is a liberal and wants more immigration here and hates America due to his white guilt.
I do want more immigration, and I do actually not hate America, but why can't we have more immigrants?
Because we're overpopulated.
I don't know. As far as overpopulated, we have lots of most of the Midwest is like there's lots of places where people live.
Yeah, they're not moving there.
People actually are, but even New York City is overpopulated, but there are lots of places that are not overpopulated.
All right, that's it for our questions. We have Brink of Sanity 3 on Twitter, thebrinkofsanity@gmail.com. brinkofsanityshow.com is back up, so now you could get the last 5 shirts.
Jay, Bri, you want to do the draft with us?
When's that?
Thursday.
This Thursday?
Yes.
I think I'm free. Yeah.
During the draft question, you have to keep telling everyone about it that Kevin Durant's not going to win anything.
Can I start ranting about how all these people now that want Antonio? Who's the guy I don't like on the Pelicans?
Davis.
There's a lot of
Antonio Davis. Yeah. Everybody wants him to go to the Celtics now because that's going to make the Celtics, I don't know, still not get out of the second round.
Oh, is he a free agent?
No, well now they have all these draft picks, so everyone's like, "Well, they're trying to trade for him."
Well, they just traded away their number one.
Jay, what do you think of what do you think of the big draft trade?
It's interesting. We'll talk about it on Thursday.
Let's talk about it now, asshole.
So thanks for listening, everybody.
What did we learn today?
We learned that other...
You can't walk and chew gum at the same time.
Yeah, other hosts of the show are able to have traumatic experiences.
Yes. Okay.
All right, we'll be back next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. You better go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. hello.